So if you have about ₹1 crore lying around and you're looking for your next car, well, the number of options that you have are frankly a lot. But while looks remain subjective, this one is, I believe, one of the best looking cars that you can buy in that budget. But you might be thinking a sports car like the Jaguar F-Type should cost several crore rupees. Well, you're right, but this one actually costs half as much. But does that make it half a sports car? Well, today we're going to find out. Now, one of the most important things about a sports car has to be the way it looks. It should turn heads wherever it goes, it should get people talking, and has to be wallpaper worthy too. It's not easy to go up against such expectations, but in this case I really have to say that the Jaguar F-Type is a masterclass in design. Whichever angle you look at it from, it is a lovely sight. And yes, it is right there as one of the prettiest cars in the world. It's got the proportions bang on, with the long muscular hood and a sloping coupe roofline that merges seamlessly into the boot. The car is long, low and wide and oozes of presence on road. The gloss black elements like the front lip and the side skirts add some extra character. It gets the signature J-Blade daytime running lights and it uses a bit of chrome too. And while I personally am not a big fan of chrome, in the F-Type it has been used tastefully. Especially the element that surrounds the windows that further accentuates the coupe stance of the car. And as you might have noticed, it was the R Dynamic variant that we were driving, and this variant comes with 19-inch alloy wheels which are just drool worthy. But here's the thing, these fantastic sporty exteriors raise your expectations, and that can be a bit of a problem when you step inside the cabin. Now, one of the things that I really like while being inside the Jaguar F-Type is the driving ergonomics. Almost everything is exactly where I would want it to be, and it's a fantastic place to be in. But when it comes to interiors, I do want a bit more. And the reason for that is simple. The F-Type was globally unveiled 6 years ago, and the interiors have basically remained the same. Don't get me wrong, it is a fantastic cabin, but purely in terms of design, the cabin does show its age. But what it makes up with is fantastic driving ergonomics, wherein the driver sits low and has great visibility on offer as well. And yes, the sight of the long hood in front of you never gets old. Then there are some clever bits too, like the button placement for the glove box and the fact that your passenger has something to hold on to. The highlight, however, is the 10-inch touchscreen infotainment system that has great touch response and feels butter smooth to operate. Then there's also the Meridian sound system, which feels right out of a luxury car. But what I really love are a few bits that the 6-year-old in me gets absolutely excited about. Like the door handles which sit flush with the doors and pop out when you need them. And the air vents pop up whenever you switch on the aircon. Did Jaguar really have to do that? Well, not really. Am I glad that they did? Absolutely. Well, now that you're done drooling over the way this car looks and the list of features that it has, let's address the big matter, which is the engine on board. Now, you would expect it to be a big hunk of engine, but this one is not. This is actually a 4-cylinder 2-liter petrol engine that has been seen on other Jaguars as well. How big of a difference does that make? Well, it actually depends on your usage. If you're aiming to hit the racetrack to set blazing fast lap times, well, this engine option isn't the one to go for. But if you're going to be driving on public roads and use the car for your early morning drives or something like that, then this actually makes a lot of sense. The engine makes a decent 300 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque, which sends all the power to the rear wheels and comes mated to an 8-speed automatic gearbox. And since it belongs to Jaguar's Ingenium range of engines, it is relatively fuel efficient as well as compared to the F-Type's bigger siblings. And still, the P300 is no slouch. It can do a 0 to 100 km per hour in 5.7 seconds and will go on to a top speed of 250 km an hour. And the best part is that everything else in the F-Type, like the chassis and the suspension setup, everything was built to handle a much bigger engine with a lot more power. So in a way, you can really push the P300 if you want to, and you won't run out of grip or make the car break a sweat. It all feels easy and controlled. And remember, while P300 might not be able to match the oral experience of the big V8 variant, it still is one of the best sounding 4-cylinder engines. And with all that money that you will be saving by opting for this variant, you can actually put in an aftermarket exhaust to fix this too. And speaking of money, this is where the F-Type P300 really shines through. The biggest, baddest F-Type that you can buy comes with a price tag of 2.65 crore rupees, whereas the P300R Dynamic variant comes in at just 93.67 lakh. That's less than half the price of the V8 SVR. That's even less than some of the big luxury cars out there. And with the package that you're getting at this price, it begs the question, isn't this all the sports car that you need?
So to sum up my experience with the Jaguar F-Type, well, I have to say there were a few things that left me wanting for more, and I did not really expect that. But when you throw in the price into the equation, I really cannot fault this car, as this one is pretty much perfect. So if you're looking for a car that stands out of the crowd and makes you arrive at the scene, then the Jaguar F-Type is the one for you.